Okay, so it's been about 12 hours since I spoke to you last. A little's happened. So apparently they sold my house. It's so a little while ago, like I get a message from my one of my daughters, and she's like, "Have you heard anything about the auction? What happened?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything." And so then I was looking at my emails and stuff, and there was a thing on my mail. They always send me a picture of my mails, and it was from the trustee. So I sent those to her, and I said, I don't know, maybe I'm about to get some kind of notification. And so she said, yeah, it looks serious. And so then what was it? Because I said, my thing, my beliefs, whatever it was, like I just gotta see what's gonna happen or whatever. But anyway, so then I get back this, paragraph a little while later that she went in and looked, and yeah, they closed the sale on the house. She doesn't know if it was completed or whatever, but that was worth $400,000, and they sold it for $157,000. And she was like, couldn't even believe I would do something so stupid, and why would I mess around like this over my beliefs and mess around with going homeless and not having a place and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like, you can't get somebody to understand what you're doing. That's why I seem so crazy to everybody, because I do things that don't make sense, but it makes sense to me. So it makes sense. It's not like I'm just sitting here like complete mental. Like, it makes sense to me. And people don't understand when you're just like trusting the universe. This is something that I have argued my whole life over. This is what I've talked about, where I said, where people were always telling me that I wasn't logical. And I was always like, I gotta go with my gut. I gotta go with how I feel. And, how I feel was the whole time when it was all being set up, it was like, that's not like my rescue. Like, oh, I'll just, like knowing what's going on with the money laundering and the system, and to know that corruption and then to still go a part of it, that is like dirty to me. That is going against my integrity. And I have a deep, deep belief that the universe will take care of me, that they will provide, and that when things are taken, other things come in. That it's not something that you need to panic about. It's more of going through the process. And yeah, this is going to be sad if that is how it's going to go. And I don't know. I mean, it's so wacky to me too, because if the people went and bought this house, like if it was some little old couple and they pulled up and they said, well, we bought your house at auction and we're so poor and mud, and we don't want to run you out, but and they were reasonable and nice and stuff, then I would just pack up and move out and leave it, let them have it. If it's some LLC who comes and starts putting pressure on me, then I'm going to feel like it's like Weird Science and those bikers, and maybe I'm supposed to stand up to them. Like, maybe that's what's supposed to play out. And maybe it's supposed to be like, this is just another push for me to go. It's weird though, because I had already looked up like about the Penske trucks and stuff like that, because it's weird, like when you're single, and I was like, oh my gosh, how would I move my stuff? And then you look up the trucks and they've jacked up the prices because of what's going on with people. And so all this stuff is like falling apart, but it's all falling apart. And so to me, it's like they went and bought this place that is about to drop in value. Like, it's about to plummet. Like, if they think that they got something worth $400,000, like, that is absurd. Like, this is where people don't get. They're playing with numbers. Even my daughter, it's like, she doesn't get it. It's not that. It's not worth $400,000. It's worth whatever value that they are giving it while they put in another development to sell it. And then as soon as that goes and they move on to the next one, they crash this one. It's like, this is not how it goes. But people like, oh, well, it's like, you guys, it's not how it goes. Like, And so, you know, and there was a lot of things, even the ones where the guys were offering, I was getting text after text, oh, I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you. But every one of them was just, it gave me a feeling of like shadiness. It just felt so shady. And even this, like, this is completely the corruption of the corporation. Like the trustee to be selling my house like this, and when all debt has already been counted as obsolete and stuff. So there's a like a sanction of government that is continuing as it is. But see, that's all about to go down too, because they put out a huge list of all these people that they don't have their oaths. Like, we already knew that they weren't doing them, that they had them, like, they're swearing on purses and shit. And so that was a part of the show. It was a part of the absurdity. And so, yeah, all these people, and they had 10 days to show this or something. And I think that started a couple days ago. And it was weird, as I swear to God, I thought that started a couple years ago. So, but all this stuff is coming to a head. So whatever things were churning around before, where they were saying, well, we can't find their oaths or whatever, supposedly all this pressure is going now. All these things are starting to really heat up. And another thing too, I guess there's the Polish president or something. One of these presidents from another country says he has the evidence that William is really Rothschild. He is not of that line. He's not Prince William's kid, or he's not Prince Charles' kid. But that's the whole thing, is that guy had come out with all this evidence. This is where I started first listening to Charlie. And all of that whole royal line is all like maids' kids and all sorts of stuff. It's like not at all some like, it's shady as fuck. And so, you know, and they probably do a lot of messing around with DNA and kid swapping and no telling. So it's really strange though. Like, I wonder when they switched him out. And I wonder if that's like the falling out with Harry. I wonder what's going on with Meghan. Like, there's so much weird stuff. So much weird stuff. But so I had seen, there's this one guy that I see all the time, and he talks about Nisar Gasar. And he said that he said the things that had to go when it was going to put into order. He said the Queen had to go. That was the first thing. The Pope, which there's all sorts of weird stuff with the Pope. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that were different ones have gone down. So I don't know. That whole thing is crashing. And Joe. So it seems like the Pope is being exposed, and Joe, he seems like he's really, I don't know, like maybe he's fading out or something. Like he just is, I don't know how they're going to end him. I don't know how it's going to play out with him. But it seems like, you know, it's like on the verge. Like every time and everything seems like it's like we're right on the verge, like it's about to go. But so he said that the things to watch for, that will be the things when they'll put Nisar Gasar in, is when the stock market crashes and the dollar. And he said that for all the people and stuff, that we have a parallel account, a quantum account that's running parallel with this other account. And this other account's going to go down, and that's going to like shift us over to the other one. But the stock market isn't going to do that. The stock market, he said, is just going to crash. It's going to go. There's nothing to hold it up. And there's a whole thing, I saw a tweet or something where all these billionaires are selling off all their stock. Well, it's all part of the show. It's all to get people to pay attention, like, oh, well, things are about to crash. And so it is right on the verge. Just like I said, that one girl, she went to go look at her stock portfolio. It's like, man, people are investing in the wrong shit. And so she went to go look at it, you know, and it was a big ordeal. And then she was looking at all this stuff. And she said she thought it's about to crash. And the African president, he had said, he told everybody in Kenya to get rid of their dollars that will be worth nothing within 2 weeks. And that was like a little less than a week ago or something. And so they're saying, a lot of people are saying that it's going to go April 1st. And so on the house thing, then it's like, So when everything crashes, the houses are going to go like to zero value. And so if you just took 100, because if you go to auction, you got to take cash. And so if you just went unless you're LLC, and LLCs get to play games with the numbers and move money around. And so, but they're all going to be crashing too. And this will be the thing that takes them down. And see, that could be one of the things, is my house is one of the ones that takes them down. And so that's another thing why I can't sit here and panic and stuff. I just got to trust that, let this all play out. And I also know that, even like I'm not going to be staying here. Like that, I know I'm going to be going, but I still thought it would be my house. Like I still thought it would be mine. But it's like I've learned to just let go of so many things now. You can't just hold on and hold on. And that is one thing that is so important, is while you're there, is to appreciate every moment you have and to enjoy it and stuff, because then everything is so temporary and it's gone so fast. And it's when people are in the worst crises that they forget how temporary things are, and it can be overwhelming and you can feel burdened. And this is stressful. Like, this is stressful. Don't kid yourself. Don't make it seem like, like, oh yeah, I'm not worried at all. No, this is stressful as fuck, man. That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have a fucking peaceful life and just go enjoy my life and travel around and go dance and listen to music and do art. I know we were going to be fighting for our fucking lives, but it's the fight is worth it. I mean, everything is changing, because like, yeah, I was aging and now I'm youngering. Like, I'm going the other way. It's like, I look at that too, like when I sit back and stuff, because you can tell, I think, more and more how it is not lifting color, it's deepening in color. So the lift is there, but it's going backwards to meet back up to the color. But you can see how, what I've been saying, how it just starts to just keep going into it. It just like disappears or something. It just fills back in with color. But it's like your signs of aging disappear. And, and that was a blessing to get to learn about that, to get this extra time too. Because when everything switches, there's going to be so many things, like so much is going to change in our lives. When Nasara Gasara and quantum and stuff, so much is going to change. But so if somebody actually bought it, then especially that's only a couple weeks, and it's very close. Like, it really could be. I got a confirmation. I got the confirmation for my appointment, and so I did my confirmation, and I'm just gonna really trust the universe. I mean, that's all I can do. I've been trusting it for, a while now on some pretty big stuff. Like I said a while ago, it was like I just was going into a trust fall and just being like, okay, you guys got this. I'm just gonna just trust you guys. But I am one of those people who knows, like, there really is a universe. There really is this energy, and the energy that you feed is the energy that feeds you back. And so the energy I've been feeding, like I had said when I had started this, they were waking me up and telling me to get up and talk and do this stuff. And so I was doing, the work that they asked me to do and asking for nothing. And, even when I would be pushed or no support, or I continued to follow the guidance from the universe. So that is what I'm saying, is that they have, like, when all this stuff shifts and we see our truth, I think that I'm going to see that I made the right moves, that I did the right thing by just trusting, even when things didn't make sense, to make my guide my moral compass. Go inside. How do I feel? Well, that feels shady. If I go and contact them, all I can see is shady shit. Like I'm dealing with loan sharks or something. It seems shady. And, you know, like, so I got to go with how I feel, you know, and even when, you know, my daughters, I guess this is like my life, and, you know, it's because before it was my siblings and it was my kids, and it's just weird. It's just weird to go through life and, I don't know, to just be like making wacky decisions and to everybody else, but you just keep making them, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's just that you are, I don't know, the lone wolf, tumbleweed out there. I don't know. It's just weird because they always just look at it as like, God, you're so weird. But, you know, I just feel like the universe is going to show them, like, for one thing, the universe is real and you can trust them. And I'm not the only weirdo out there. I'm not the only person who, you know, doesn't go and listen to what everybody else says and goes and sits and thinks and goes into reflection and communication and, you know, tries to figure out what I'm supposed to do from that. And, you know, and whatever the lessons are, those are your lessons that are your benefit. So whatever they are, I can't imagine, you know, that it's, again, we're going to take another place she hasn't learned yet, because I feel like I have learned. But also in the learning, I've learned that you just got to let go. And so, you know, I just got to be able to just be like, okay, because anything can be gone in a second, you know. There's nothing, like, we can't take this stuff. But today when me and Stella were out walking, and because that would be the next thing, I would think. I would get served with eviction notice. So, you know, I guess I'll just watch for that. And that would be a curious thing too, if the police or the serving person would cross the no trespassing thing. So, but they can try and catch me, like, while I'm out walking, and walk up to me, even though it would be like pretty open out there. But they could be just driving down the street and pull up, pretend like they're gonna ask for directions. Like, the people who serve you are tricky. So, whatever. I'm just, you know, I'm focused on my health. I'm focused on getting to that surgeon and going in the direction of taking care of myself and trusting that I'm going to be in a place that's the right place for me. And this place is definitely, I mean, it's like on the chopping block. Like, so no matter what, it's on the chopping block. And like, if you went and put $157,000 in cash, so you could have went and bought silver, gold, and land. Those would have been much smarter investments. But, you know, and a lot of people, when they come and get places like this, and it's like, so they can be close to the city for work. Well, all these jobs are going to all of a sudden be laying people off right and left. Places are going to close down, especially there's going to be, even from all the places that will be closing down, there's going to be the whole part where who's going to go to work when you're not going to get paid? How are they going to pay you when they can't give you $1, when they can't write you a check? And some people may go and work for a week and then wait for their check to get deposited and nothing come in. And that could start this week, you know. There will be some lead in, some stuff. But even if they got this house, once the market crashes, there's going to be a reevaluation. And the houses are going to go down to like nothing. Yeah, so you wouldn't even be able to sell. And this house has a whole bunch of stuff that needs done. You got to pull out that whole fucking bathroom. You got to pull out this whole fucking kitchen. And then redo the whole building outside. Like, there's a lot of shit to be done. And to me, I've lived here for 5 years, and I think I've paid $20,000 the whole time. So, you know, and that still is more than what the house is going to end up being worth. What it really is worth. Everything else is jacked up. Everything else is their gameplay with money. That's the crimes that they're committing. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Hurry, come on. I'm busy. So, anyways, that is where it is going to be super, super cheap. All the houses are going to be super cheap. So that's another thing. where I was like, fuck, I'm not going to keep paying all this money into something that has no value. Like, this is a game they're playing with people. And then people are paying, and then they're still taking their houses away in storms and stuff. And that whole Michigan thing is just gets weirder and weirder. Like, there is so much weird stuff about the Michigan fire thing. So I don't know about like there's just stuff being done to us all the time, you know. So, and I swear to God, it would not surprise me at all if they just set out instigators into certain areas and have them go mess with like gas lines and do things to cause more chaos and stuff. And there's going to be more. I mean, it's just going to keep picking up. So anyways, whatever is going to go down here, you know, I don't know. But once I go to the appointment next week, because it seems like it's like especially that Kenyan president, even though I swear to God, he said that a long time ago. It seems like we're like having these things repeat or something, but that makes it seem more serious. And then especially because there's the whole thing about April Fool's Day. It was April Fool's Day because it was for the fools, because that was really the first of the year, because we didn't know. And so there's a whole thing. And if this is our 4-year anniversary, then once it would get to the new year, that just seems like the time for everything to start over. And so it makes sense that that would be at that time, and that we are in the lead in to that time. But once this stuff crashes and stuff, once the bank crashes and the government starts going down, like even with some, like a lot of these people, if they haven't had, if they can't find their oath, right? Every single thing that they have signed their name to is invalid. So there is a lot of shit that is just gonna, you know, like, this is going to be the crashing of the government. And then there's a whole weird thing. I think it was Schumer or McConnell, one of those weirdos. There's a whole weird thing going on with something with his family member getting in a crash. And so I don't know if there's some sort of cover up, but I'm sure it was some sort of bullshit cover up, some shenanigans he probably did a long time ago, but then they're going to play it out now so that we can see, because that is what everything is being done. Everything is being shown and revealed and stuff. And so it's kind of like a lot of these people are running from themselves, and but they're going to be exposed. There's no getting away from it. All this stuff is going to be exposed, and more Hollywood is exposing stuff. I don't know, Wahlberg and Mel Gibson. I don't know if they're teaming up or something, but there's a whole thing that is saying like there's a white hat, or like the good guys in Hollywood are taking down the bad guys in Hollywood and exposing, and there's all these people who have been taken down and arrested and stuff. And so like that shift of, you know, that splitting apart, and the good guys are standing up to the bad guys and exposing them. So I don't know, there's so many shifts, there's so much going on. Like this is the crashing, the end of, like I said, it's like their reality is it's like fracturing apart. Oh yeah, because when we were out walking, when we were out walking, you know, she'll go over to the neighbors and stuff, and she'll want to just sit over there and hang out for a while. And so I'm just standing there, and I will look around and stuff. But while I was looking around, I was like, because it was like the past week, it has really been seeming so weird. So weird. Even when I come back into my house, it looks so different. Like, I feel like everything looks a certain way, then I'll turn up my driveway and it looks so different. It's like, oh, this is weird. But while I was standing out there and looking around at the trees and stuff, I was like, this is back, like, I feel like I'm in a 3-dimensional book. I gotta just remember, I'm in a 3-dimensional game. I'm in this 3-dimensional storyline. So I'm in this creation, this game, this platform, which the things that are there are a part of the illusion. But they are, but they have a density in the vibration So it makes it seem like it's solid. And so, like, but we're in this thing, like this game, and I swear once you get to that part, is like you're out there walking around, and it is like you feel and you see yourself as a character walking around through this game. It's really weird, but I've had this happen so many times, and it was so much like that today. And then I was like, it really is like, once you realize you're in this three-dimensional game, once you realize you're in the three-dimensional game, that's the way out of it. You know, it's just the understanding where you are, and so that you can shift out of it. Because while I was standing out there looking at it and stuff, and I was like, okay, got to remember, none of this is real. Whatever, whatever goes down, because I hadn't even gotten the mail yet. I didn't know what it was going to be, because I kept thinking, okay, it could very well be that they're putting in on another auction date. And so it's just weird too, because when this happened before at that other house, and that one, it was the same thing, where they auction it, because that is not happen usually, that they'll put it on the first auction and then they will sell it. And so usually it takes like 7 or 8 of them or something. This lawyer guy had told me before, when I was trying to do it with the last one. And so this one, I was like, fuck this shit. This is bullshit. All this shit, I'm not giving it all my energy. I'm not going to keep paying money for something that's about to crash, because I thought that the crash was going to happen a couple years ago. And so the way it's drug out and stuff, but it's just like, okay, well, I still feel like I'm more prepared for when things go down, and I still know that I'm going to be, like, it's so weird too, is because my kids have been like, keep telling me, oh, I need to move, I need to move, I need to move. Like, this is so stupid that I'm over here like this, and I'm over here all by myself and stuff. But then all of a sudden, oh, well, it's worth that much money, and now you just lost it. It's like, but that was never going to go that way. It was never going to go that way. Everything that is like a dark energy, it's going to fall apart. It's not going to be, even if somebody like gets all this money and goes and does that, it's going to be something with their lessons. Like, something will go. Like, there's just, this is all about this shift in lessons, and this shifting in your, in like this, like what I'm talking about, like this connection to yourself, and this moral compass, and this trusting the universe. And so anyways, I'm curious to see how it's all going to play out. And it could be, it's going to play out. It could take a while. I don't know. I don't know. Everything is drug out so much longer than what I thought it would this whole time. Everything. So, and that to me is where you just got to get comfortable with, like, okay, well, Father Time has it's like destiny and time are a couple or something. They work together, and time is so intricate in destiny. Like, everything has this exact moment in time, and there's so many things that replicate or come like reflect out, like reverberate out. Like, everything has a reverberation. Everything has like a butterfly effect. Every little thing, and everything has an exact moment in time. And so that, in everything is already set. It's already set. That's why, like, where people sit there and say like they think they have control, like today they can get up and change something. It's like, well, that's not the world I understand to be. Like, so it is a lot more of, you can want and whine and cry, but you got to stop and ask yourself, like, why? Especially when you start realizing, like, your soul has a plan. Your soul has a plan. Like, you have a set plan. And that's where you gotta learn to trust your soul. Like, okay, well, it's going to go better. It's not going to get worse. whatever is going to be. Like if I lose the house, then whatever my challenges are, you know, I'll learn from them or whatever. I'll have to figure out how to get a truck. I could figure out how to move this stuff by myself. You know, it takes some time to move because I have some heavy wood furniture, but I could do it. And move this stuff and get the truck, get the money. It was, see, even that stuff, that would take a couple months. So even if they come and evict me, like before when they came in to evict me off that other house, then they had said, and that one I lost because it was from a marriage. And it was in his name, and I was trying to fight to keep it, and my lawyer, it was like a whole thing. There was a bunch of lawyers, and so anyways, it ended up being like, no, this is stupid. You let them take it. Don't mess with it. And so anyways, but I learned some stuff in there, you know, when that happened, and I learned to let go of things because I really liked that house a lot. And that, you know, that was, and our deal too, like what our deal was with the breakup, you know. But anyways, it needed to be completely separated anyways. We needed to never cross paths again. So, you know, that needed to be our future. So, but when I had, when that happened and they did that eviction thing, or they sent a letter, I don't remember how it was, because in the very next house, see, the very next house I went into, we had to get a rental, and we moved into it, and it was like we were there for like 30 days, and we got a notice that they were selling the house, and then 30 days later we got a notice it was sold, and we had to move out. And they went, I think they did give us a month's rent or something. I think they gave us a month's rent to move out. But anyways, and then the other one on that eviction, because that is weird, huh? So that house, I got evicted, and that was a divorce, so like it all made sense, and I lost that house, lost like there was, it was just the way it went. And so I let go of that stuff, and that was after I'd already lost mine from my brain injury. And so then, like, I was holding on to that, like all I had left was that. And then when I got this one, this was like my comeback. This was like, oh, you can do this. You don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need him. You don't need her. You just need you. You can do this. And I had my comeback, and I got this place all on my own and did all this work all on my own. And then, well, my son-in-law did come and build that porch. And he did come and build a wood thing too. He liked to come and do project. Whenever he would come, he would just go outside and start looking for stuff to do. And so I started trying to figure out projects. So while he was here, that was like, okay, well, I've got stuff we can do. So anyways, but when they had done that eviction on that other one, then they said that, oh, that is weird. So when that one, they did offer some sort of money to move out. I don't remember what it was, but then in that money offer, it was like you had to take every single thing. They did not want one bag of garbage left there. And so that was you know, because I think a lot of times in these situations, people are just like, fuck it, leave all their shit. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like why would you, you know, like, so yeah, I don't know how it's all gonna go down, but I definitely have, you know, I've had to go the house that when I was a nurse, and when I got my brain injury, when I couldn't afford the stuff anymore, it was way bigger. It was a 5-bedroom. It had like 3 floors, 5-bedroom. I think it was 3-bathroom house. And before that, I had a big old house out on a farm land. And so then that one, I had to shrink by a whole lot to go to the next house. Then from that one, I had to shrink a whole lot and shrink a whole lot. So I've shrunk down quite a few times to the point where I got here. And now I'm down to like, this is keepsakes. Like this is stuff that, besides like mattresses and stuff, where it could be like, well, you could just leave that stuff or you could sell it. or just give it away to homeless people or something. I don't know. I'm just gonna see what happens, see how it goes, because if everything starts crashing and stuff, like, and plus, I don't know. I mean, if it's an LLC person, those people could be arrested. So I don't know. Like, to me, I just got to keep going and see if they show up to evict me, see if they make some offer. And then, but what's weird is, so in that house, when I got my brain injury, the house it was super nice, but I had overextended myself by a lot because I had a really good job and I was a workaholic. And so I had a big pool put in. I had a loan on my pool. I had my house. I had a timeshare. I had a whole bunch. Like, I was overextended. And so then, and then, when you lose your income like that, it's like, fuck, what do you do? And my income went down to, I think it was a third of what it was. So my income dropped drastically. And then when I tried to get the bank to work with me and redo my loan, because they were doing that for people, redoing their loans and stuff, they wouldn't. They said no, because my medical condition or my income, they wouldn't recognize disability as income, and it was a whole thing. And that was Chase Bank, shady as fuck, so fucking shady. And so they told me that they were going to, the only option I had was a short sale. And so I tried to do a short sale. I got a realtor, and then they wouldn't accept any offer. This guy was sending an offer after offer after offer. They wouldn't accept any offer. And so he was messaging me and saying, they're not taking these offers. They're pulling some shenanigans. And so then I tried to talk to them, and it was always a different person, a different department. It was like so frustrating. And so then I just moved out and we went and got a rental. And that was the really, really haunted. I left one haunted house because the house that I was living in was super, super haunted. And then left that one. But that one I was so used to. Except for the only thing I didn't like is, like, if you went downstairs by yourself, there's a big, dark energy. And I think it was like an old man or something. It was weird because my house was new. So I don't know what was there before. Maybe we were on his plot or something where he was buried. I don't know. But when one of my daughters, it was her bedroom, and she had a TV in her bedroom, and her boyfriend were on her bed sleeping. And she said that all of a sudden she woke up, and in the TV, there was an old man standing over him, watching him. And so she hit her boyfriend, who ended up being her husband and the father of the kids and stuff. But so she hit him, and she showed him, and he looked up at him. And then so he got out of bed and was trying to creep around. And she said that both of them said that when he got up and was going, that the old man was turning and watching him the whole time. And so both of them got so freaked out, they both jumped up and ran up the stairs as fast as they could. And they thought they were going to get in trouble, and ran and jumped on the couch. And and she said that they heard steps, this loud steps, or a stomp kind of running, going up the stairs behind them. And then the door slammed. So I don't know. But that's how that other house was too, with that old lady. Because the old lady, so when I moved out of that house and I moved into the next one, the rental, and I moved into that one, and right away I got so sick. Right away I knew there was a ghost. I lived in so many haunted houses, and so right away I knew that there was a ghost there, and she was doing a lot of stuff. But it took me a while to kind of catch on and start seeing that she was protective over my husband, and she did not like me. And he was, he drank a lot. So I don't know what she dealt with. It's like, sister, whose side you on here? So she was on his side. And so, anyways, that one, we were there for a year and a half. And it was like, oh my God, it was intense. And then, so when we moved out of that one, and that's when we moved in the other one. So it was like so much temporary because I got kicked out of my house. Then I moved into that rental, and then we were moving back into his old house. And he was, you know, getting his old house situated or whatever, and we're going to redo it and all this stuff. And so there was a bunch of shenanigans that went on with his thing. And then he had decided he told me he was choosing alcohol over marriage. He was like, right up front about it. Like, I just can't do it anymore. I choose the bottle over you. I was like, okay. But one thing I said is like, well, now you're gonna not having me around. Now you're gonna have to start taking responsibility for yourself and not having anybody to blame for all your problems. So good luck to you. Good luck to me. Like, was the one who had to face, you know, like why would you put up with so much shit, man? Like, God. And when you see how much shit you'll put up with, that's where you'll start feeling like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassing. Oh my God. And then you got to see, like, why am I such a weak ass bitch, man? Well, you just got to face that stuff. And then it's like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Well, yeah. No big deal. Okay. Move on. And just, you know, but there's a process to it. And yeah, it takes some time to work your way through it. But so then in that house, and when we got divorced, and then I went through all that thing, is I was trying to keep that house. I was continuing the work that we were doing. I really liked it. It was like we were doing all this really custom stuff. It was really cool. And I liked the location. I was right on the bus, and I didn't drive then, so I would just take the bus, and it was close to downtown, and I would go out all the time and go out dancing. And so, and I was single. This was after my dark night, though. This was after, you know, when I had gotten to this point of like, fuck, I'm going to be single, man. Why am I going through these relationships? Like, fuck that shit. And so, you know, it was all about, I'm going to go single, and I was having fun. I was doing stuff all the time. And anyways, everything was going good. And then I lost that house. And then, so we had to move into the rental. And then right when we moved into that one, lost that house. And then I did not know where I was going to go. I went into my daughter's basement while I was still looking for a house, because I was still trying to get a loan and stuff to get my own house. And then I was like, I could live like this. I could just live in somebody's basement and just have like a basement apartment and just go out and do my own thing. Like, why would I don't need a whole fucking house. And so I told her, I said, you know, I'll just rent your basement from you if you want. And so I'll just stay here and rent your basement for a while. And then I did it for a couple of months, but they were just like, you know, so when do you go in? I was like, okay, well, probably next week. You know what I mean? And so and then everything worked. And this all went in, and I got this place. And then I came over here, and then everything seemed like it was going good. And then I even went out of the country. Well, the one house, the rental, the one before I moved to my daughter's basement, I moved like 4 times in like a year or something. It was crazy. It was 3 or 4 times in 1 year, but it was like 18 months, I think, was 4 times, in a year it was 3 times. It was crazy. And then so I got to here, and then shutdown happened. And that's when, you know, everything went crazy right away. My kids stopped talking to me. People stopped talking to me. I was isolated. I didn't know people. And then I started being like, I just started focusing on doing stuff around the house. And then when you focus and do stuff like that, it's like being in meditation for me. And I started having like a lot of communication. It was like a lot of healing. And then all the stuff I was seeing on the TV, it was giving me so much more information. I was having all this like, oh my gosh. It was like more and more awakening happening. And that's when I started realizing like, oh my God, everybody's brainwashed. That's what's wrong with everybody. Like, everybody thinks this is what life is. You know, it was like, and then, you know, you start seeing things so different. So I was going through all of that stuff. And so now I've been here like 5 years, because that was 2019. It was March 2019 when I moved in here. And so, and then I paid, the first year I was paying extra too. I was paying extra, like a payment and a half or something, because I was like, well, I just want to pay my house off, because that was always been my thing. Like, I'll just pay my house off so I don't have to worry. And then plus on my disability insurance, there's always been this pressure, is that when I turn 65, that ends. And then all I would have is Social Security. So I've always been focused on, ever since, you know, I lost my nursing license, I've always been focused on whatever, where people are always like coming up with a side gig, coming up with all these different things. That has been my focus for a way long time, way longer, where people started thinking of it over the last couple of years, like, you know, I got to get something else. I got to do, you know, it's a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in how you look at things. But like I said before, I was like forced into it. I got a brain injury. I lost everything. Everything fell apart in my life. And, so the, so in the, let me think what I was saying. So the shift in, so when I was here, and then, oh yeah, okay, so yeah, I was paying for the first year, I was paying like extra, and then the shutdown happened. And then I was still paying, and then Winston got sick, and with cancer. And so the vet bill, I gave up on the vet stuff, and they were such dicks. I just couldn't even believe that whole interaction and stuff that went down during that. I just really have a hard time with that vet's place now. I'd rather drive back to Spokane and see her first vet, and that was a whole giant practice, just because, I don't know, you just really saw people's true colors, man, through this stuff. And so anyways, so I wasn't having a lot of money. I was having to pay a lot of stuff. I don't even remember all the stuff, what I was having to pay, but it was costing extra, like, to have him be so sick. And I don't remember what it was, but they put out that moratorium or something it was called, or something. So if you were being affected with sickness during that time in your family, you didn't have to pay your house payment. Oh yeah, because that's what it was. I had a bunch of payments. It must have been with the vet, and that must have been what it was. So I had a bunch of payments with the vet, and Winston got his sickness and everything. And so I tried to skip a house payment, and I went on to see if I could skip one. And that is when it came up as this moratorium or something. And it said, oh yeah, you can skip it. Just say you want to skip it, and you have 3 months right off the bat. And I was like, oh, okay, hell yeah. And so I had those 3 months, and then they would check in to see if there was still a sick family member. Well, they didn't know it was my dog, but yeah, he was still sick. He was dying. And so I kept it going until it ended. And then it ended, and then they made you redo your loans. And so through all that time you didn't pay. And then when they had to redo the loans, you had all that period of time you didn't pay. And so then they had just started making me pay, I don't know, it would have been, I don't know, I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and look at the videos. But it seems like it was like a year ago or something. Like, I'd have to write it out and try and put it together, a time thing. But wherever it was, then I started paying the payment again. And after they did the loan thing, they made me sign these papers again. And so then I was paying my payment again. And then something else happened with the economy and all those houses in Florida, and they were taking people's houses, like, and I was like, this is some bullshit. And so then I was like, I'm not paying this any fucking more. This is bullshit. And then plus, it's like, you have to choose your money each month to go towards you or to go towards them. like paying them so they don't come and break your legs or something. And so paying them for so you have security. And so to me, it was like, I'm going to, care for me. I'm going to go buy the groceries I want to eat. I'm going to go, do the things that I need to do to take care of me. And then plus I would help other people out. And so I started putting, that energy towards that, towards helping other people and towards taking better care of myself, and stopped just giving them my money. And so, to me, I've always trusted the universe through this process. So, but that's what I'm saying is like that first year I paid, and then in there is like another 6 or 8 months that I paid. So I was like, man, I really have only paid like $20,000 or something the whole time I've lived here. And maybe even less than that is, I don't know. I would have to really figure it out. But even if the house, like once they do the reevaluation, the house is going to probably be worth like $6,000, and it needs like a lot of work. So I don't know. Like this seems like such a stupid time for people to be doing this kind of stuff, and it makes it seem like they're either desperate or shady. And so that's where I guess I'll see, what it is what's next. And it's not like, like you have to take actions, like you have to do things, but it's like the things come to you, so I just got to see what happens next. And to me, my main thing is to focus on getting to my appointment. And I go over and over and over in my head. It's driving me crazy. Where I've got to convince him or something of my plight. And then I keep, telling myself, no, the universe has got this set up. It's going to go the way it's going to go. And I feel it's going to go good. So that's another thing too, is waiting to see. So there's all these things up in the air, just waiting to see, which direction it's going to go. And to me, it's the shift. It's like the shift is going, that would be where things will go good. As long as we aren't shift, then everything is going, crappy. But once things shift, then things are going to go good. And, like the bad people will go down and stuff. And these people who are, let's see, these shady people who are, there's so much shadiness involved in the housing market, and just all of the stuff that has to do with economics and stuff. There's just a lot of shadiness. So all of that stuff has got to play out. And that wasn't the thing. There was something else I was seeing something else. And but whatever it is, it's whatever it is going to play out. And to me, it seems like all these things are about to crash. Like everything is right on the edge of the crash. And it seems to me like the banks and stuff are going to crash. Like I'm really on board with this, where a lot of people are saying before the end of the month. And it really seems like, even though we've had all these different dates, but even though we've bypassed dates where it thought like, oh, for sure, it's got to be, things have only built up. They've just built up and built up. But they're, the direction that they seem like, they're going, but it's going to be so devastating. And that's got to be why it's so slow going in. So, look, and I don't know, like when it crashes, even if they come and evict you, how in the world can they think, like, where would people go? Like, how would you couldn't, I mean, there wouldn't even be cops to come and do the evictions. There wouldn't be people to come and move you out of your homes. Like, cops aren't going to go to work. Like, there will be like more of a military takeover. Even if there were cops that would go to work, they would either have to choose, they would have to make a big switch to go to the Republican off of the corporate, because they work for a corporation. And then they don't know that they're working for a corporation against us, So that will crash. Like I would think that they're like, they won't want them to go to work. So I don't know. You know, we'll just have to see. I still have a package coming, so it's like I want my package to get here. I want to get to my appointment. I want to get my surgery removal thing done, and then just see what happens next. You know, I feel like it's all on the verge, and then I just have to ride it out, like, and see. You know, I can't do things I can't do. I don't have any money right now to go and get a Penske truck, and I've got boxes. I could start packing stuff up. But then there's just so much a chance of like everything can collapse. And like, are these people going to think like they're going to show up here and when everything collapses, like, are they going to see like, well, we just fucking bought a dud. We just got screwed. We just lost $157,000. So I don't know. It seems a lot more like it's just money number plan, like it's an LLC situation. Like it's more of the bullshit stuff than just some people. Because like that one guy who had all that cash, he couldn't even get a loan for a house. Like the banks can't loan out money right now. So I don't know. I just gotta see how it goes. And but yeah, I'm gonna look foolish to a lot of people and crazy. But if it goes the way, you know, when it goes good, then, and I don't know how it will go good. Like that I just stay here in my house that doesn't have any worth and with a bunch of stuff broken. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. So anyways, it's just as, this is what I'm saying though, when I talk about, you just got to go with the flow. Whatever your experience is, whatever you're going through, that you just got to kind of go with the flow and be present. And there is like a lot of self-talk. You know, there is like talking myself down off the cliff, or not off the cliff. Like, I don't feel like that. I mean, I feel sad. You know, I went and gathered every rock. I went and took wood out of the wood pile of trash when they were building those houses and came and built a deck out of it. I did a lot of stuff here. I was doing all of it by myself. And so, you know, I was in a very creative kind of flow, you know. So, I don't know. Just got to see, you know, what's next. And not stress about it. Like, they could pull up, like, I could make a big fucking show of it, you know. They could pull up with a sheriff and another car and make a big thing that they're coming to evict me and I no longer live here and I need to hurry up and move, and make a whole big embarrassing thing, you know. Yeah, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, whatever. And I don't know. Like, I can try and say, you know, you're going against my human rights and stuff, but I've got to see like how it plays out. You know, what goes down. Just the whole thing, I feel like the banks crashing is going to be, the banks and the Wall Street crashing and the government crashing. Like, I don't see how anybody could come and say that they can come and take your house, that they bought it from the government. Because they would have nobody to back them up. Once the government crashes, the bank, like, there'd be nobody to be on their side. There's not going to be anybody to come and do an eviction and stuff. So, anyways, I don't know. We just got to see. But if it goes like that, you know, I'll just have to get a truck or a bus or something. There's some old school buses. I don't even know how to drive those fucking things. Like, even a big old RV. I was like, fuck, I'd be sucky. But I need something a lot smaller. But I don't know. I mean, I have to just ask. I have no idea. I don't know. I can't figure it out right now. I just got to see. I got a bunch of boxes. I could start, you know, boxing up my stuff. But even that seems like it's kind of premature. Like, I don't know. You know, this is like the bucking of the ugliness, the ugliness of this dark world is bucking its last head, you know. It's like it's doing its last fight, you know, because this stuff is all of the dark. You know, we should be able to have our homes, have our land, be able to go and just live our lives, should be the energy. All this other interference and stuff, that's all negative. That's all toxic, negative interference. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But there does seem like that there is a lot happening on, I was trying to think if I'd seen anything else about stuff. It seems like that there was some more stuff. There's lots of stuff still, like when people show local news, there's still lots of weird stuff going on. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on. And so, to me, it does seem like it's just like right on the verge. And then it's so annoying. So annoying how these people who were all into the voting, and it's just like, oh, and it's Super Tuesday, and who won this, and who lost this, and who's stepping down, and it's like, oh my God, you guys. Like, Jesus. And you would think it's got to crash way before it gets to that point, so that these people can see, like, you're holding on to something that is, you're giving all your power over. You not only are you giving your power over, you're yearning to give your power over, but you are giving so much energy into it to set yourself up to give your power over. So, you know, there's all these things have got to all play out in order for people to see what their power is, where they need to put their energy, right, to reprioritize, to find balance. All of those things are a part of it. And I can't help but keep looking down the driveway. I've been feeling that way all day. Even this morning, as soon as I opened the curtain, I was just like standing here, and I just kept looking down, like, you know, like, is somebody going to all of a sudden pull up? And I hadn't even gotten that stuff yet. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling it coming or something. They're going to pull up and make a big thing out of it. And none of these people would know, like, what I was fighting for. They would all just think, like, that's so weird. How did she lose her house? Like, she seems so quiet. She's like, they would all not have any idea. But to me, it's like, well, I'm fighting for what I believe in. And besides that, I trust the universe. If I'm supposed to stay here, they would make sure of it. And if this was where I was supposed to be, they would make sure of it. And that, and I trust that they're going to replace it with something better. And not to say, like, because I don't want to discount this place. I love this place. So not to say, like, oh, this isn't good enough or something. Like, I don't want to put that energy. I love this place. But I know what the universe takes something away from you, it's going to give you something that you're going to love. So it's not going to take something away from you and then give you something that you're miserable and hate. The only thing is like, man, I've just been in such a period of time of loss for so long. It's like, oh my gosh. And this, like, most people would say, well, you did this to yourself. You know, don't bitch and moan about it. You did it to yourself. And yeah, you know, I made that choice. I made the choice to stop paying and, you know, like I said, to believe in my beliefs, to believe that this is all falling apart. And just like right after I got that mail and I went on TikTok, then that is what I saw, that video. And that guy explained about Nisargadatta, and that it's about, that they think that it's going to, everything is going to be happening before the end of the month, and that everything is going to be changing. Like Nisara will be starting at the beginning of the month. So over the rest of this month, it'll be when everything will crash. And, you know, so I'm just going to not worry about it and just see what happens, you know. You can't sit and worry and worry and worry. And even if people come and, you know, I get embarrassed and they make some big thing, like I already had Secret Service show up. I've already had neighbors out screaming they were going to beat me up. I've had like a lot of embarrassing things already out there. Like the Secret Service coming, that was embarrassing. It makes me look like I was some sort of criminal. And I still, after all these years, because that was in 2020, in the beginning of 2020. And so all these years, I still have not seen anybody on TikTok That's the only thing I'm on now. But I haven't seen anybody on there talking about that the Secret Service came to their house. And all these people, there's a lot of people that say a lot of shit on social media. So, I don't know. I don't know. You just gotta just not worry about some of the stuff and just go, just go with the flow and see what happens, see what's next. And we are in this time where everything is falling apart and everything is changing. And then I know, too, that this place isn't on the new map. So, I always knew that it was going to be some sort of, probably having to leave here, but man, is it going to, this is just wild to just see how everything is going to play out. Is it going to be is there going to be different migrations? Is there going to be, and just like how they have this, there's a big fire in Michigan today. There's a big one in Oxnard where they said that was see, the one was a smoke shop that just so happened to have propane tanks and all sorts of stuff they weren't supposed to have that blew up and was shooting shrapnel out and killed somebody that was half a mile away or something. It was shooting shit out all over the place. And so, danger, Will Robinson. And then in Oxnard, it's maybe it's a juice place, Dole or something. I don't know. Another giant fire right in the middle of everything. And those can go anytime. It can be in Seattle. Those places are gonna be, LA, Seattle, New York, all these big cities. Portland, just like how it's been, having just constant nonsense. That is just gonna build and build and build. And any of them can have any of these big explosions or anything go down. So, I don't know. There's still a lot to get to, just to get to my appointment, just to get there. And then once I get there, then it's, do I leave there with stitches, or do I leave there carrying this plastic with me still? So I've still got that. And then, then after that, then I'll start focusing, I guess, and see, if they start telling me I have to move, they'll start packing and figuring out what I'm taking and where I'm going. I know I'll just end up going to my mom's. That's the only place where I could go. And then get my stuff into some place, a storage place, I guess. And then wait till it crashes. Because once it crashes, then, I'll go get a place. And just go buy a place. Places are going to go so cheap. And I know, I am positive they're going to be giving away so much land. I just feel so certain of it. It's going to be a part of the giving back, because this is the jubilee for society, for the people. This is everything that was taken from us is going to be given back. And so there's going to be tons of land and all that. So, once, going to my mom's and stuff, I still would be temporary. Wouldn't be well, I guess I'll be there now for another few years. There's no freaking way. There's no way that this year is going to end without this crash. I can't even imagine this month ending without it. How could they just keep it wobbling like this? Joe can't even barely put words together. He's talking in a whisper. He's confused. So... And who knows if they're going to have him, maybe he's just going to have a stroke out. Maybe he's just going to be sitting there whispering and just fall over. I mean, it would be great if somebody pulled his mask off, that Scooby-Doo thing. That would be really great. But, I don't know. I mean, that would be just too shocking. So they can't do it. The quantum computer said, no, that would shock people. They would fall apart. We would have chaos in the cities, people crying, and wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. People are fragile. People are scared of everything. So... however it plays out is how it's supposed to play out. But I do not see how they could keep it going. And I do not think that they're going to take us all the way into November, because that would just make more of these people rely on a savior. Everything has to fall apart so that they don't have a savior. They have to learn to save themselves. There is no savior. So everybody who thinks that they've got a savior up there, and these people keep putting him up on a pedestal like he's here to save the world. He's here to save them. No, he has been showing you that you need to save yourself. And to me, he's going to be like a step down character. He's going to be like, because there's so much trust in him. There's got so many people who trust him so much. So he's going to be like the one who like steps him down. But what he created was a movement, and he created like he does have like unity and stuff. And you know what's also weird, as I was thinking about today, is in these two groups that are divided, the blue and the red, right? What is weird is like the red is like, if you were gonna make a thing for them, you know, they're all about the borders, American flag, and church and God and all that kind of stuff. And then on the other side, then you have them, and they're all about other people's borders and about just accept everybody for whoever they are. And but it is like these, it's weird because it's like these two different flags, you know, because these people over here, they've got the crane and the strip flag. They're waving those all over the place. And before it was the crane, now they're just focused on the strip, but they always go for these blue and yellow flags. And then because I'm pretty sure both of those flags, they look similar to each other even. And then, I don't know, there's just something weird about it. Like these two philosophies, these two different ways of looking at things. And it's all going to be a collision course, you know, when it's all to get people to start looking at things in a broader perspective. So these people will look at this and these people will look at that. And but everybody keeps just staying on their own stuff. So whatever's going to go down, it's going to get people to have to look at things in a much bigger, broader perspective. And if it is like before, they had said like the alien invasion would be the thing that would bring us all together. And that's what they want to do, is try and make us all together under their control. But it really is like us fighting against these people are bringing us all together. Except for it's when you have the awareness of who your enemy is, I guess. When you have the awareness who your enemy is, then we all come together under that, knowing who it is and seeing how they create this division and get people to focus on things that aren't, they're against human rights. And then they get people to be all on board for it because they make them scared of other people. And so it's so toxic. But you know, but all that stuff, see, that's why it all has to shift, and people have to see the truth, because they are so tricked and manipulated by ignorance and biases. And so anyways, that's why all this stuff, it has to fall apart, and everybody has to see, and it will change, you know, all that stuff is going to change everything. So anyways, I can't remember. It seemed like there was something else I was going to say too. But anyways, yeah, because the savior thing. Because if they had it go and, oh, everything's going to go so great, we're have this great election, oh, he's going to be back in power. Like if it went all in that way, that would just be setting people back into slumber. Back into, oh, okay, now we don't have to worry. He's got it. We're good. Nothing. We got nothing to worry about. Let's just all go back to having our good lives or something. He would be more of, there's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of stuff go down. Then there's going to be the division, and it's going to be shown, well, he was in charge anyways, and people will have to see how it all played out and what all happened. And then there's going to be shifts, like where it's going to go towards state. Everything is, to me, is going to be about him shifting power back to the people and to smaller communities. Everything is going to be about getting our power back towards us, and not out here with this unknown force making rules and laws over us. So I don't see anything about there being leaders and stuff. Like all of the leaders to me are just kind of probably in these peace treaties and stuff, it's like they all know that they have to step down. They're all going into retirement. because we're not going to be under people's thumbs. But there will be a period of time where there will be the transition, the shifting. And I think that that seems like it's going to be like towards like late through the spring and early in the summer, before we ever get up to autumn or fall or whatever, and start getting ready for that. Like, it seems like Joe, there's going to be some stuff that's going to go down. And so then, you know, and it won't take very much for the military to say who's really the commander and stuff. So anything can happen at this point, and it's going to, like, anything's going to happen. So anyways, now I'll just have, you know, my kids thinking like, oh, here mom is, crazy old lady's got herself in another crisis. She doesn't ever listen. She just goes and does this weird ass shit. So that'll be everybody's attitude towards me still. It's like, I will be so happy when the universe starts like showing that I'm not crazy. Like, that will be just such a joyous time. And so anyways, until then, I will be looking crazy. And I just got to remember to love myself and to love everyone and have a loving day. Just make the best of it. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.